What's good? You already know what time it is. I ain't gotta tell it. TheCzarr Rights Preserved. You already know how I rock. Now, today, we about to get into it. Now, I know that yesterday we talked about a witness and a newscaster, or slash reporter, news anchor, whatever you want to call the unknown lying ass woman that was on there asking some weird questions, kind of caping, as TheCzarr would say it. But one thing I want to bring up and what's going on with looking further in the story and with the more information I gain, look, that car was not the death spot of Tentacion. Again, I let you know, TheCzarr's commentators, when you guys bring out stuff, I start admitting it. There's no way it was. Forensically, scientifically, there's no possibility to have taken the damage his body sustained, as they claimed, because we didn't visibly see it, and no blood to pour out. Now, I'm going to tell you why in this video, okay? Here's why. Any area on the neck area that would be attacked would leak profusely. It would leak profusely because that is one of the main areas that blood goes through to travel to and from your brain, as well as commands are given throughout your brain and electronic signals. So neurons, all types of things, it takes a lot of blood to power and, let's say, circulate in order to cause these organs and these areas that keep your body sustained to work properly. There is no way to get hit and not bleed. I mean, and if he didn't bleed, it would have to be within the first few seconds of the damage occurring. Then it would start to bleed. I did multiple researches on bloodless crime scenes, and I looked through the details. The bloodless crime scenes that I detailed over through my research came in three ways, okay? It was either the blood was cleaned up and they used chemicals to make the blood go away. The blood that was released was fake and it was being used for a movie. Or there was never any damage done. You see, there's no way to be attacked in major areas of your body and you to not bleed. That's not possible. It's just not possible. There's no argument to it. I mean, for it to happen theoretically, they had to shoot him. And 1 second, they're saying he was shot close range. That makes it even more impossible because wherever the bullet landed would have spattered it. It would have spattered. So it would have been a hard hit. It would have been a hard hit. And then there would have been spatter from the damage done by the close range activity. I got people that like to follow me real close and then veer off, show attitude. It's not my fault your man ain't doing what he should do. Leave me alone. So then we have them situations where we would have had trajectory if it was close range, to the fact that we would have seen it would have been shredded. It would have been impossible, especially with the weapons that they claimed in their story. I'm just going with the evidence produced. There's no way that blood did not happen. Okay, so objectively, given the benefit of the doubt, what would that mean? Well, that would mean it's probable, alleged, and I'm alleging that the crime scene was not his car. He could have been killed somewhere on Riva Motorsports, placed in his car, and what happened was whoever was with him had him right there in the car and kind of ran out into the store when, let's say, the 4 fall guys were called up to ride down on them. So when they parked, remember his BMW Benz was in between the gate The gate was open, so he was allegedly blocked in front and behind. Unknowingly, these men were, I presume, in this alleged tale that I'm telling, and I'm saying tale because it's not truth that's held by solid evidence, except there's no blood, and that's what a lot of people are saying. And actually, I want to say real quick, this happens a lot in crime scenes. When people commit crimes, they transport the body elsewhere, and it looks very clean. And that is because usually the scene was done somewhere else. Now, why would I say in Riva Motorsports at some time? Why would I say that? Because the shop had closed down very shortly after the incident occurring. So to have multiple people on the job cleaning a crime scene at the same time would be feasible to get rid of some type of scene, especially if we're presuming it happened before the cops even showed up. And if we would presume this, it would have been the time in between these men left to go get the items from the store to commit the crime, and then to, let's say, have a situation where by the time they arrived to do the breach, where they cut him off thinking they were stopping someone and grabbed the bag, they may have thought he was still living, but it could have been easily done that way. Now, that's one scenario. The second scenario is very swift. Was he drugged inside Riva Motorsports and placed in the car? Because now we know it's impossible he climbed out the car. Like the witness said, he was lying. Because how would you get shot and sit perfectly back in the car with both legs inside? That shows me either transport of a corpse, or we're dealing with a lie where he was drugged, and when they went to rob him, they were probably told to shoot, if he was shot at all. It would be a big reason why people are calling them shooters, but everybody who's a suspect is acting like they ain't shot nothing, like Michael Boatwright. Now, let's be real. In this situation, he's been through this type of stuff. He has multiple felonies that were violent. Theoretically, would it not make sense that this is a person I want to be presumed a shooter, if anyone at all? It just makes sense if you think of it in other terms, that these guys did or did not do it. And you would be dead to rights if they checked the money and it was the money withdrew by Tentacion, because yes, you will be connected to it, dead to rights, can't argue, because you took it and received it in some way. And if you received it without it being handed to you, that means you took it at some point, which takes away the objectivity of you being out the situation or involved in the crime. It's a Bravo situation. I mean, it would be the perfect setup for a fall guy. I mean, storybooks couldn't do it this well if that was the case. There is no way that if he was shot and that picture was taken right after, which I believe was a mistake by the witness. I don't believe he was supposed to do that and post it so soon until other people would advise him, or let's say give him the go ahead. And if I'm correct, I'm presuming Victor shouldn't be around too much longer. He, in a way, messed this case up from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? And that's alleging that happened to Tentacion that way. But what we proved, that witness messed his whole story up. That witness was false from start to beginning. Let me tell you guys real quick how the story should have went if it was correct. I would have got on cam and I would have said, yes, Tentacion, I asked him for a photo and he told me, nah, man, I got things to do, before he left. Presuming that's what happened, I would have said, I seen him roll down and he began leaving and circling around. As I was walking back in, I heard the sound of two cars pull up. Now, these two cars that pulled up, I seen men with guns jump out, so I ran inside. And she would have asked the question of what happened next. And instead of him going in saying, well, Tentacion said, what the F? And they began shooting and stuff. See, At that point, if I was going to cover it up strategically, I would have said, I don't know. I ran inside, but I heard gunshots. That simple. If he told a story like that, there would be no way to disprove him in any way, shape, or form. Everything else would be perfect. But where he tripped up was that he explained the story that happened after you said you ran inside. That's not possible, sir. And where else he messed up? He said he ran inside to pick up the phone to dial 911 or ask someone to dial 911. But then allegedly you went on Instagram claiming you were the one that used your cell phone to videotape the last moment of ex-Tentacion's body. You messed up again. Whoever this witness is, truthfully, he messed the case up from the start. If an investigator was real, that would have been investigated before anything else. Because I have a witness jumping on social media telling the story I know by evidence is not certified. Let alone he took a picture of the deceased body and messed up whatever intentions we had to catch our criminals, because he released it. Now they know we're on to him. That's why 2 men are gone. That's why 2 are gotten. This witness not only failed and dropped the ball on the case, but he implicated the suspects without even trying. Because he hopped out, he said who hopped out, how many numbers. He just ran down, and now it's a lie. So now he messed up the case again. So what'd you do, man? What actually happened, Victor? And that's what we're calling you, Victor. What really happened, Victor? Tell the truth, Victor. You know how we rock. All rights reserved.